I'll kick it off. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream. This is episode 5. Haven't seen any of these yet, please go and check out and subscribe to our channel, Hydrogen House Project. And we've got lots of amazing videos in there. This is Mike Strizki and Summer Loggins. And today we're going to be talking about recent events, what's going on in our world today, and how the hydrogen economy is going to interact with everything that's happening today. So Mike has been in the hydrogen infrastructure for 30 years now. He is the creator of the Hydrogen House Project, an entire home that runs off-grid using just sunlight and water to create limitless energy and pure water and pure oxygen for our planet. So a revolutionary invention, and we are sitting in the presence of greatness right here. So please just take some time to listen to what he has to say. Summer is a very dedicated journalist. She's an activist, a fighter. She's getting into politics. And we're here just to get you guys up to date with what's going on in our world, how this can work for you, and why it's not here yet, but more importantly, how you can get it to be here today, tomorrow, and within the next year, 2 years, even 10 years. So please enjoy. And without further ado, Mike, Summer, introduce yourselves and have fun.
Well, hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. The things that we want to cover this week is, obviously the elections have been on everybody's mind for, last month of, who's the right person, who's the right party, what they represent, what they're going to do, and how these things are going to affect you. I'm glad to say that, Joe Biden has gotten in because, we're going to have a president that represents all the people, and we're going to have someone that believes in climate action, climate change, and we're going to have someone that's going to hopefully try to fix some of the problems and reverse some of the actions that the Trump administration has done. We live on spaceship Earth. This is a spaceship traveling through the universe at 60,000 miles an hour, and no matter what happens anywhere on the planet, it affects everybody. So basically, you may not hear the water coming in, but the ship is sinking, and all of us will either rise on the tide or sink by the tide. And it's now time to take action that there isn't. We've already, passed the tipping point, and I don't know how much we're going to be able to salvage, but we have to start right away to do this. All the greenhouse gases have been released that have been trapped for millions of years underneath the oceans when the ice melted. You basically pulled the cork off the top of the bottle and all the fizzy left. Well, that fizzy is going to make everything a lot hotter. As it gets hotter, the science of this is that there's going to be more water in the ocean. So that means that the salt water to freshwater ratio has changed to the point where we're going to have a lot more of that water evaporating, which is going to generate a lot more storms. Plus, that water that's there has a lot more heat in it that's going to turn into more power for these massive hurricanes. And we're going to see weather changing. This is the first year I can remember that we've run out of not only names for hurricanes, but we've run out of Greek symbols as well. And the hurricane season is now later than it's ever been. Usually it's done by now. In my world of science, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. In the world of politics, politics defies the laws of physics. So we've got to go back to the right thing. The Trump method of basically, getting rid of a pandemic is not through science. It's through willing it away, saying it's going to go away by itself. Well, this problem is not going to go away by itself. And it's not going to be done by political will. It's going to be done by, changing our actions. If you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity. And God knows we've had enough insanity these last 4 years. We have to take care of our home. And, we have everything we need to fix this problem. Everything. Except for the will to do it.
Right. I think willpower is something, we can't just wish something to go away and happen, but what we can do is learn about it and advocate for it and demand it. Because in the government, the way they handle climate change is they come in with the snowball and they said, oh, there's no global warming, there's a snowball here. And unfortunately, that's not a very good way to handle a climate crisis. It's not a very good way to handle climate change. And a lot of these things you can see around the world today. We've got fires raging in California. We had one in Australia last year. And these things are going to get more and more frequent. As we have this harsh weather, you're going to see dry periods, cold periods, wet periods that are going to start creating these massive shifts in weather that we're just not used to, and our economy, our infrastructure is not really prepared for. And what the best way to do that is to have an off-grid system, a system that you can always rely on, that you have in your backyard, that you can fix and have ready, a system that's going to produce oxygen and water for you, the necessities of life. So,
yeah, we've just finished a supercar, after 5.5 years of work. Please visit it on the website. It's called the Hyperion. We are now undertaking a new venture where we're building a new version of our Jewel Box technology that will provide microgrid capability along with hydrogen refueling, all in the same box. So this is all technology that exists right now. We need the government to start giving subsidies and starting to put in, massive amounts of money, not subsidizing oil anymore, subsidizing renewables. The government has to make an active effort for cap and trade for carbon, and basically take that money and use that to fund, the hydrogen economy. All we need is refueling stations. All we need is to put infrastructure in, just like we did during the Great Depression when we did the interstate highway system. The government has to step up, and we have to do this nationwide, and we have to do this as a collective effort. We have everything we need except the will, and the people that I'm talking to out there, we all have to demand it. We all want a planet for our children and our grandchildren, and we want to have a better quality of life, and this is the keys to it. Since hydrogen's 80% of every molecule in the universe, it's an unlimited fuel, and it has no negative environmental impacts. 94% of all the greenhouse gases can go away tomorrow, but we're out of time. So it's going to take a massive effort. We're just like the Patriots, fighting the British. We have to basically fight unconventional warfare, till we push this ball over the top of the mountain. And, it's getting more and more vocal as, the signs of the planet you can't deny. The planet is telling us, Mother Earth is screaming, we need to fix this problem. We need to fix the water. We need to fix the air. We need to fix all the chemicals we're putting in our bodies and, putting into our environment that end up in us.
So let's pause for a second. I think we're going a little bit deep. I think what we should do is we should back up really quick, and we should cover how the energy comes to us today. And I think Summer, she's written a really great article about this stuff. And she's gonna let's do a little Q&A on how the energy today works and how our proposed plan could work for America, for the rest of the world. How this would look and how this home works, so people can really understand what we're missing out on.
Well, a lot of countries without fossil fuel assets are essentially adopting the hydrogen economy because they're not married to fuel. They have to buy all of it. If you're an island in the middle of the Caribbean, all of your resources get trucked in. Exactly. Fuel, water, food, everything. This is a chance to be your own oil refinery and power plant. The hydrogen house is a small example of how it all works.
This week has been a great victory for the American people, but the battle has just begun. We're just starting now. Now we have to focus on getting government support, which now we have much of a better chance because we don't have people in oil and gas running our country. And now we have to focus on building the infrastructure all over America and educating the people. And once we do that, we can change our global economy. We can be at neutrality, net zero for carbon emissions, and we can do all of this. We just have to work together as American people, Democrat, Republican, everyone. We all do this together.
So what was the name of that article that you wrote?
It's called Is Water the New Oil? And basically, we're subsidizing oil and gas, and people say, oh, well, you pay less money for gas, and now we're independent from the Middle East because we're making it in America. Yeah, of course, but if we're subsidizing hydrogen energy, it's free for everybody, not just American people, but everyone in the whole world, and it actually is good for the environment. So wouldn't you rather subsidize something that's better for our future rather than just making 1% of people in crony capitalism more wealthy?
Wow, I think you should say that again, that question at the end there. where you were saying, wouldn't you rather do what for our people?
Wouldn't you rather have people be independent from corporations, producing their own energy, producing clean water, having zero emissions, and just being their own powerhouse? So people have more independence, people have more power for the individuals. And they don't have to put all this money into taxes and paying for energy every single month. Everyone can be free.
We have to go into making equipment, not mining, dead fossils. We call ourselves a modern society, but we're living off of the deposits from the Jurassic Age, when we could be using a star, we could be using wind, we could be using solar, we could be using the oceans. There are so many ways we can get renewable energy, including pulling hydrogen from all of our waste, our landfills, all of our pig ponds, all of the sewage that's generated, landfills. All of these things now turn into sources of energy, since hydrogen, like I said, is 80% of all the molecules in the universe. It's here. We have a fuel source that's inexhaustible, and it's in everything. When you're in outer space, you just convert water to hydrogen, hydrogen to water, and the sun shines 24 hours a day. So no batteries needed. You're not throwing it off board. You're not spending to transport it home, and you're not having to track another piece of space junk.
And people say, oh, well, if this worked, then the free market would allow it, and we would already have it. But this isn't true, because oil and gas, not only do they control our government, they control our media, they have billions of dollars, they're way in deep into everything that you see. So of course it's not going to, how is anything going to come to the public if people are controlling it because they're getting wealthy off of your suffering? And they're putting people in power so that this doesn't come into fruition.
People don't realize that this technology, just like computers, will promote way more jobs than it ever takes away, just like cell phones. People said that none of this would ever work, but we can do things today we couldn't do yesterday. And we have to capitalize on America's strengths, which is its innovation, not give it to other countries where we're buying the stuff that we created. If you want to balance the economies here, America has to go back to building things again. And we have to be the suppliers to the world. I grew up in an age where U.S. made everything. Oh, we made all our military stuff. We made all of our electronics. We made all our consumer goods. Today, we make nothing. And we found out during this pandemic that, we are vulnerable to the rest of the world because we don't make anything. And that means our children don't get the chance to have the jobs where they learn this science to create more jobs. We've broken the chain. So we have to go back and reconnect it again to where we make America truly great again. Not the Donald Trump great, but the great where we were after World War II, where we are self-sufficient. And we are generating technologies that will change the rest of the world. I mean, look at China. They went into the coal age when they were going into the machine age. They didn't learn from the mistakes that America made when we were cleaning up our environment, after we couldn't breathe either.
Well, my uncle worked with Oak Ridge Facilities, actually. He was one of their top scientists, and he was over there working with the clean coal, clean nuclear. And in reality, there is no clean in this process. What you can filter out and you can take out of your emissions are still being created, and you're bringing them up from the surface. Things that were never here and present in our time era. So, and if you want to talk about the future, building something in America, build the future. NASA talked about interstellar travel, people living in space, Space Force, all these things. The way that they are planning to do it is by utilizing this very same technology we are talking about today. Hydrogen is the most abundant fuel source in the universe, in the cosmic realms that we know of today. So, would you rather dig in the ground and pull up some chunk of rock,
Millions of years of dead fossils,
dead dinosaurs, or would you rather have a way to create energy that takes sunlight and water that makes pure oxygen, like the plants do, and pure water for you to drink at the end?
And doesn't leave all the detriments, the NOx, the SOx, all the spills all over the world that are damaging our shellfish life, that are in the water that we drink.
Yeah. And to simplify this a little more for some of you guys, if you only have one baker in the village, what happens when the baker dies? Who knows how to keep baking in the village? And that's just a little simple analogy that demonstrates how important it is for us, each of us, to understand, to be able to implement and duplicate this technology for ourselves and to use it in our everyday lives. Because one day, there will be no one left who understands how to use this old technology that we're running on today. And one day, we're going to need people who can understand how to change the world and run the world in the future.
We're turning over the keys to the planet to a generation that's not equipped to do this. And it's our responsibility not to say, I got mine and screw the next generation. It's their problem. We're left leaving them a busted up wreck of a planet, that they may not survive another generation. When I was growing up, or at least how I feel, I've got children and grandchildren I want to leave the planet for. And I collectively spend all my time working on the collective good of the many, not the few. We have to change capitalism to work for us with this new hydrogen economy and turn these oil companies into energy companies. Investors don't care where the money comes from as long as it shows up. And with this technology, you never drill a dry hole. You never have an oil spill. You never have an Exxon Valdez. You never have a Gulf Horizon. And when you use this technology, it actually cleans the air up and it cleans the water up. So this technology was sent by God to heal the planet.
You guys, this is just the beginning. We have to redefine what it means to be an American and really make this the land of the free. And to start with that, we have to be completely energy independent. And that's the start of true freedom in America.
There's other countries around the world racing to be the world leader in this technology. And it all started right here.
Japan, South Korea, coastal California, China, they're all doing this already.
Australia.
There are millions of these fracking wells out there that are abandoned because there was no oversight on any of these things. So we've created tens of thousands of toxic waste dumps that's destroying America's most valuable resource, which is its fresh water. As these wells fail, and they will over a 10-year period, it'll start to go into the water you drink. And they won't tell you, the oil companies won't tell you what's in this frack water that they're putting into the aquifer at 40,000 pounds. And, they were causing earthquakes with this stuff. Every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And we've got to stop doing things that are making a bad reaction. We shouldn't put anything into ourselves, into our environment, that we don't know how it's going to end up. And if it does end up bad, we've got to stop doing it, not keep doing it till we get caught or till it becomes someone else's problem.
And people need to be held accountable for the actions they have taken and the destruction they've done to the world. And also, we have to hold President Biden accountable for his promises that he made.
Absolutely. And we're talking about, it sounds like this stuff is one day it will pollute our water. And unfortunately, it's already here. And if you actually, a website I want you all to check out is ewg.org/tapwater. And then you type in your zip code, and it will show you what is in your water currently. And to some, it might be the saddest news that they've ever gotten. These things in our water cause cancer, growth defects, abnormalities. They cause mood changes, and they cause a lot of the disease that we see today, that we give pharmaceutical drugs for. And in those pharmaceutical drugs, there's calculated risks. And those calculated risks are how many people will die if they use this, how many people will have some sort of a benefit.
How much we'll lose in lawsuits and how much money we'll make. And if the money we make is more than the people that die in lawsuits, then the drug is released.
Correct.
How many of these drug commercials have you seen where, you're going to have cleaner skin or clearer skin, but you're going to die of a heart attack or
kidney failure.
Yeah.
Or liver
or
failure.
you're going to have blood clots.
Fibromyalgia.
Or you're going to give you suicidal tendencies.
Yeah. So just think about what's going on around us right now. We are living in the age of a calculated risk.
And we created most of it.
And the generations that we all term each other, Generation X, Generation Z, baby boomers, millennials, COVID boomers. These generations, they sound like fun, but in reality, what these generations are, these are the wealthy individuals in the world that term us as classified groups of people that they monitor and they watch what is going to happen. At what age do we expect the baby boomers to die? How long do we expect the millennials to live based on what we have in the environment? Our food is
What's their spending trends? Where are they spending
where
their
do they
money?
spend their money and what's going on. And
Demographics.
these generations, we toss around, oh, that's funny, but in reality, these are what people use to classify and make billions of dollars off of us without even realizing the system that we're a part of. And if you don't believe that these things are real and things are in your food, look up Monsanto. There's a Roundup lawsuit right now, billions of dollars in lawsuits for people that have developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma from the Roundup being used as a pesticide on the crops.
And if that's not enough for you, there was a study that was done that said 100% of all California wines have Roundup in it. So when you're sipping on that wine glass, just think how many unwanted things that are in there that you really don't want.
These corporations are just using data and using that as a tool for marketing. And that's why it's so important for consumers to demand that they have clean energy, clean products, clean food, things that benefit the environment rather than take away. Because we're not going to be, the next generation, we're not going to just keep spending on stuff that's poisoning us and poisoning our land and our earth and air. We can't do that anymore. It's not worked. It hasn't worked. Look where we are now. It's because of that.
Most people don't realize it, but, we've got to get out of the world of war. We've got to give everyone something to lose. And that the largest polluter in the world is the U.S. military. We leave trash, scorched earth behind wherever we go. I don't know if you've heard the recent reports where, we built a military base in Kazakhstan, and basically it was on a nuclear dump that had a huge explosion and did cake uranium, and all these people are getting sick. They swept it under the
Chernobyl
carpet for years. But we found the enemy. It is us.
And,
who's the government to spend billions of dollars on the military to protect us when they don't even protect their own citizens?
I don't know if anyone knows this, but 3.8 million people per year die because they lose access to clean drinking water for them. So this has a real effect on us every day, every year, every minute, every second.
1 out of 8 people don't have clean drinking water.
And die. 3.8 million. So how many people around the world died from COVID? Now think about how many people around the world are dying because we are polluting the water through fracking, through mining, through oil usage,
chemicals.
through chemicals.
In Africa, they have a crisis right now because of the gold mining industry using mercury to clean the gold, separate the gold. And that's, all the villages that people are dying from mercury poisoning.
1.6 million people a year on top of the other 3.8 million. So what's that? That's going to be 5.4 million people a year now dying. That 1.6 million people a year, they die from atmospheric pollution directly related to our current industry and emissions and these air pollutants that are ending up in the air through the energy production, through burning facilities, you name it. 1.6 million people per year. And 60% of the cardiovascular disease that we see today is directly associated with atmospheric pollution. So the air quality around you is literally causing the majority of the cardiovascular disease that we see today.
I think, we all realize that there are a lot of bad things in the world. There's a lot of things that happened in the past, a lot of things that are happening right now that are still extremely detrimental to, the human species. We've talked about, some of the negative effects, but, I want to focus on the positive aspects for what we're doing. Energy is the biggest polluter on the planet, but energy can also be the biggest cleanup of the whole planet. It depends on whether you're picking the right technology to do it. I've been doing this for 30 years, and we're out of elements on the periodic table. This for batteries or whatever. Everything else has a shelf life except for hydrogen, which is what created everything on the periodic table, that and carbon. So we have God's solution right here in front of us, and all we have to do is use it. Picture yourself sitting in a cage, and you're dying of thirst, and you're dying of hunger, and you're dying of companionship, but the keys to open that lock are sitting on the floor. But you don't have the will to pick it up, put it in the lock, and let yourself out. That's where we are. Have everything we need. We've been given the cure for the disease, but greed gets in the way. That greed blinds us to where we can't find the hole in the slot to put the key in. So, we have to take action, and it takes everyone to do this. The weight is a lot less when you have many people sharing. And, I think the majority of the people around the world would love to have clean air, clean water, clean environment, and have a roof over their head and food to eat. As we poison all of these aquifers, the animals are not going to have a place to live that we rely on to eat. We've overfished everything in the world. We got to start managing the limited resources that we have if we expect to have a tomorrow, maybe not for my generation, but at least for these guys and my grandchildren.
For your generation.
I close my eyes every night doing the right thing to try to help as many people as I can that given day, and to give people the breadcrumbs and the knowledge to fix, the mess we've made, all of us. And we are out of time. We really are. You have to invest with your checkbook if you expect to get the capitalists behind you. You have to invest in things that are going to make the world better. Invest in hydrogen cars, invest in renewable energy, invest in anything that's going to get us over the finish line.
Better yet, you don't even have to, if you're watching this right now, you don't even have to invest $1 for yourself. You can like and share this video and share it with somebody who might share it with somebody else. And eventually, when enough people understand what's going on, it will be a force so powerful that no government can stop it. So we may be out of time, but this is just the right time for us to start educating and learning about this. We are just in time to save the planet and to save ourselves. And Mike's been doing this for 30 years. So a very big thank you to you, Mike, for dedicating your life to this, putting your life on the line, quite literally, to bring this technology to us.
It's about what we do. It's not about what we fail to do. What I leave behind is what's going to matter. I'm not taking the armored car and tell God to hold the gates open while we bring it in. I'm making sure when I leave this planet, everything that's up here I give away. Because I can't take it with me. What if I have the cure for cancer and I take it with me? What benefit is that? We have to do everything we can to make life better for, all the citizens of Spaceship Earth.
That's why we need a common goal globally. Everyone needs to be involved. Instead of focusing on fear and war and being in your own group and racism towards other groups, instead of that, we need to focus on just being human beings and looking at this world that we have, this beautiful world, and protecting it.
No matter your race, religion, or creed, we all bleed and we all have needs. And that rhymes. It sounds silly, but it's the truth. And if what we're talking about is so important, and when you think about who your friends and who your foes are, if this was being covered every day on the media, this wouldn't be a problem in the world. So we live in an era that is so polluted by greed that they will only show you what sells the most. And we want to show you what's going to save the most and help the most. So we're giving a shot at this every week, every Sunday. We're going to be here live at 2, maybe 3. Depends what's going on here. We all have lives. But we're here for you. And we want to educate you guys and show you what's going on out here at the Hydrogen House Project. You can come tour us. We're at an Airbnb location. So you can look us up on Airbnb, come visit and stay here with your family. We're on top of a mountain in the middle of the woods, completely off grid. We've got all types of pulleys, vehicles you can ride around on. Love to show you around. We're on a beautiful hiking trail. So if you're an outdoors person, bring your family, go out for a hike, you name it. And we're always inventing something here, and we've got room on the team for you. So if you're somebody that's interested in this stuff, give us a call. We get hydrogenhouseproject.org. You can get in contact with us and come out and intern. If you're old enough to be an intern, or just come out for a day and spend it Kids for Hydrogen tour with Mike. And it's very, very rewarding to learn about the great positivity that we have here for the world.
Our mission here is to educate. I mean, if you don't know that there's something else on the menu, you're not going to be able to order it. We have to also make sure that there's equipment out there that people, once they learn there's something else on the menu, can order it and buy it. And the third thing that we need to do is we need to get enough infrastructure out there where it's mass produced that everyone can afford it. So, like I said, look at the movie At War with the Dinosaurs. It gives you a history. That's something I've spent the last 5.5 years working on. You'll see the trailer there, and check it out. Also, feel free to donate to the Hydrogen House Project, as we have a round of student interns and projects here that we're looking to get. So we everything here that comes in goes right to the students and the operation.
So this, let's get it up a little closer. We got up. See the camera up there? A little higher. There we go. This is At War with the Dinosaurs. Look for that cover. It's hard to see. It was a good idea.
On the
it would be
website.
better.
Yeah, it's right on the front page. Just click on it. You'll make a donation, and you'll own the movie, and then share it with others.
Correct. So this movie is a documentary made about what is going on in the hydrogen economy and what's to come for you guys and the positivity that's out there. And remember, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this video, go get your mom and dad and tell them to watch this and show them all of the awesome videos on the Hydrogen House Project. Besides the documentary, we just made one of the world's fastest cars, and it goes 1,000 miles in one charge. It takes 5 minutes to charge, and it only makes pure water for the planet.
And it's hotter than a Tesla.
That's really cool. What's it called again, Mike?
It's the Hyperion.
Hyperion XP1. I think that's
XP1,
what it is.
right.
And that's on our channel too. You can check that out. The CEO of that company is a really great friend and an awesome guy, an innovator. He is bringing the space technology to you today, as Mike Strizki has been working so hard to do his entire life for us. And Instagram, follow us on Instagram at Hydrogen House. And Summer Loggins as well. She's a big supporter out there, so give her a follow. And I'm Nick_G85. And you can follow us all on Instagram and get in touch. Let us know what your questions are. Let us know what you're thinking, guys. Again, share the video, like, and subscribe.
Tune in next week, and we're going to be doing a small segment almost on every one of these of the Kids for Hydrogen. So I'm going to have my grandchildren out here doing experiments. We tried it out a couple of weeks ago, and we got a lot of responses from that. So I'm going to make that a part of every week live broadcast where we do a segment for the kids. Kids have parents, and someone's got to talk to them.
Somebody's got to teach the parents.
Yes.
All right. So we're counting on you guys. Thank you to all of you people for watching today, and we'll see you guys next week. Cool. See you later.
Flip side.
Somebody end it.